Bullied by everyone, he found his destiny in another world. Can this weak boy become the hero of all heroes? Let's find out. The story starts with Seichi, a high school student, finding himself inside a cave with a beautiful naked girl who confesses her love for him. Yep, that's how our story today begins. You must be thinking he is one lucky guy to find a naked girl like that. Well, wait till you find out what actually happened to him. Embarrassed with his nose bleeding, Seichi recalls how he ended up in this peculiar situation. A while back, Seichi is an overweight and unattractive high school student who was bullied all the time by his classmates. One day, while Seichi is lying on the classroom floor, a voice claiming to be a god addresses all the students, informing them that they will be summoned as heroes to another world. The god bestows them with special abilities and instructs them to form groups for their journey to this new realm. Unfortunately, due to his weird stats, nobody chose to team up with Seichi. They thought he was a loser just because he had level 1 abilities. Trust me, these guys are going to regret what they just did. One by one, everyone else was taken away to the other world, leaving Seichi behind. Realizing Seichi's loneliness, the god grants him an additional ability and sends him to the other world as well. Moments later, Seichi is all by himself in a forest where he stumbles upon an unusual fruit called the evolution fruit. Now, Seichi did have a thought that the fruit seemed kinda shady, but he was hungry for 3 days. There's no way he is going to not eat that fruit. So he decides to eat it, despite its awful taste, only to discover it has no immediate effect. But at least his tummy was full, right? As he wanders further in the forest, Seichi encounters a group of highly intelligent monkeys, all at level 120 crafting potions. When the monkeys leave, Seichi takes the opportunity to steal their potions and 9 more evolution fruits the monkeys had gathered. Meanwhile, back in Seichi's school, his friends grow concerned upon hearing that he has been transported to another place, hoping for his safety. Moving back to Seichi, who while exploring the forest, faces an attack from one of the clever monkeys. Miraculously, just as the monkey is about to strike a fatal blow, it passes away due to Seichi's smell. Did he really smell that bad? The monkey's demise gives a collection of items, including its skills, meat, bones, and a book containing its knowledge, thanks to Seichi's unique ability called Complete Dismantling. At that moment, a voice in Seichi's head announces the activation of the evolution fruit's effects. And with it we see Seichi undergoing a transformation, shedding excess weight and witnessing a significant boost in his stats. Over the next couple months, he adapts to his life in the forest and undergoes 9 more evolutions. And yep, all of them were just as painful as the first one. During a scary encounter, a massive pink gorilla challenges Seichi, expressing a desire to fight. As the battle unfolds, the gorilla is astonished by Seichi's abilities and introduces herself as Saria, a female gorilla. When Saria seems on the verge of defeat, Seichi attempts to employ his foul scent as an attack, but to his surprise, it has no effect on her. That is one crazy power anyone has ever had. Foul scent, like seriously, Seichi. Saria falls in love with Seichi. She takes his hand and leads him away, expressing her intention to marry him. They arrive at her home, where she prepares a delicious meal and provides clean clothes for Seichi. And that's not where it all stops. She then gives him some magic books too. Girl is really fallen in love, or should I say girl gorilla? Saria informs Seichi that she needs to go find evolution fruits for him because someone has stolen the one she had collected before. I guess we all know who did it, right? She then explains that a person can only consume 10 of these fruits, as eating more would be fatal. Seichi, after realizing it was him who stole the fruits, apologizes and admits to it. Then he tells her that he did so because he was hungry. Saria accepts his apology. While Saria is out fishing, Seichi attempts to escape but encounters a formidable spider monster. Saria easily defeats the monster, showing her concern for Seichi. Now, even though he has realized she genuinely cares about him, it doesn't mean our guy's gonna stop running from her. So after a minute, he again takes advantage of Saria's absence and starts running. Far from where Seichi is, students are arguing with their trainer, who refuses to let them go out and battle monsters. Kanazuki and her friends remember that they were given a mission by the king to defeat the demon lord upon their arrival and how competent they were back then. Back to our hero, as Seichi runs away and Saria chases after him, asking him not to run away from here. Ignoring her pleas, Seichi enters a cave where he encounters a skeleton. This skeleton, named Zeno, attacks Seichi, but as he is about to attack him, Saria comes in between them and gets fatally injured in the process. Seichi wishes to heal Saria, but she has only gotten a few seconds to talk to him due to a special ability and is already dead. Seichi is deeply saddened and cries for Saria. On the other hand, the skeleton taunts them, leading Seichi to angrily attack it. After a prolonged battle, Seichi manages to kill the skeleton, who thanks him for allowing him to reunite with his beloved Marie in the afterlife. One minute he is taunting Seichi, the next minute he is thanking him, like what is going on here? Seichi notices that Saria is glowing, and he fears she has died. To his surprise, Saria has evolved into a beautiful girl. Okay, now I get where that naked girl in the start came from, and why was she so desperately clinging on to Seichi. After Zeno has departed, we come to know Zeno's story and how he was separated from his lover who sacrificed herself for him. Just a second after they finish reading Zeno's story, Seichi begins his final evolution and becomes more handsome. Moments later, a small sheep in a suit named Edward appears and congratulates Seichi for completing the dungeon. Edward rewards Seichi with knowledge on cultivating evolution fruits and provides them with 10 days of travel. Finally, he places a strange helmet on Seichi's head and sends them out of the forest. Off they go, new lovers on an adventure they know nothing about. Seichi and Saria are on their way to a city when Seki encounters a slime. At first they think not much of it, but then suddenly Seichi goes all in to defeat the slime. In the end he gains a level and a pair of boots which he gives to Saria. As he acquires the skills from the slime, his helmet transforms into a robe, and a letter falls from Edward the sheep. Edward informs him that the robe is meant to conceal Seichi's immense power when outside the city walls. The next moment they are in front of the city guard Claude, asking them for their IDs, which of course they lie about and how they have misplaced it. So Claude asks them to put their hands on a blue glowing ball, which will tell if they have any criminal records. As Seichi and then Saria put their hands on it, the ball shows no sign of any criminal activities, and thus Claude lets them in the city. But before entering the city, Seichi tells Claude that they are heading to the guild immediately. However, Claude, with a worried expression, cautions them against going to the Adventurers Guild. However, Seichi pays no heed and proceeds to the guild. There, they discover the place is filled with inappropriate individuals. And by inappropriate I mean really weird, like men and women doing crazy stuff. Someone's eating a bottle of glass and the other person is busy showing off his whole naked body. So yeah, they are like very weird. Seichi decides they will seek to get their IDs elsewhere as this was the only reason they had to come here in the first place. But just then the guildmaster Castle, a super pervy man, assures them they don't need to go anywhere else and takes them in for registration. The way he pushes them is just on another level. I can't stop laughing watching all this. While Seichi is registering, two troublemakers enter the guild and start talking to him. After a moment they take Seichi away to another location with Saria left behind a little worried. They take him to an alley with ill intentions, but Seichi flees in terror. He returns to the guild where he and Saria initially meet Artoria, a rank adventurer assigned to supervise their first missions. She introduces herself as Artoria of Calamity and then takes them to a local church. Saria stays behind to assist with caring for some children, and Artoria and Seichi move forward. As they walk, Artoria sees a child who gets injured and she rushes to help him. While she is doing so, wooden plank starts falling onto her and the kid, which worries Seichi, but as he goes to help them he sees that she has already prevented the wooden planks from falling on them, as if she has anticipated the danger. Later, Artoria and Seichi arrive at some ruins, as their mission is to demolish the building which seems to be already in ruins. Seichi enters and accidentally triggers a collapse by just touching a wall as he was wondering from where should they start. It causes the whole building to fall on him. Seeing all this happen in such a small time, Artoria is shocked. She starts blaming herself and rushes to clear the wreckage. That's when we get a glimpse of Artoria's past, where something bad might have happened to someone close to her, and that kind of triggered her reaction when she thought Seichi might have hurt himself. However, Seichi being Seichi comes out unharmed and clueless to Artoria's thoughts, and Artoria of course scolds him for not waiting for her guidance and tells him how being an adventurer is to be able to work in a team and not make reckless decisions like he just did. After this mission is complete, they move on to the next one, which is to walk a dog. Seichi thinks it's no big deal, but that is until he sees the dog he is supposed to walk. Size of a whole wolf, the dog doesn't seem very dog-like to him. After completing a mission somehow and making it out alive, Seichi and Artoria are now ready to receive their payment, which the guildmaster has saved in his undies. Like what? Is that the safest place he could think of? Really? After taking their payment, Seichi and Saria think about their lodging options and how and where they should live. Artoria surprises them by inviting them to stay where she lives, much to the surprise of the guildmaster and receptionist Harris. They accept Artoria's offer, and Seichi and Saria continue their test missions under her supervision. Their current mission requires collecting basic medicinal herbs. Saria appears to be succeeding at it easily, but Seichi only finds rare items and can't locate the essential herbs which were just right by his feet and he did not see them. Surprisingly, he looked pretty proud of himself when he told them they were rare mushrooms that he brought. He goes deeper into the forest in search of them and encounters a group of demons who seem to be up to something. Seichi approaches them to inquire about the herbs, but they respond by sending a troll to attack him. Seichi easily puts an end to the troll attack. Frightened, the demons quickly flee from Seichi. Unfortunately, Seichi doesn't find the herbs he is looking for, so Artoria hands him the herbs to complete his mission elsewhere. Meanwhile, a group of demons informs a demon woman named Leah that they've set traps for humans. These traps have the power to teleport anyone who steps on them into the Dragon God's dungeon. But since the demons did all this by himself and wanted to surprise her, it did mean they weren't going to be punished. Leah punishes the demons with 500 lashes each. The next day, Seichi and Saria embark on a low-level monster hunting expedition under Artoria's watchful eye. As they explore, Artoria realizes the presence of traps in the area and advises them to retreat. However, Artoria inadvertently triggers one of the traps, leading Seichi and Saria to rush to her aid. They too are transported to the dungeon. Inside the dungeon, Artoria provides Seichi with a special stone that guides them to their party members and emits a red glow when their lives are in danger. A trap separates Artoria from Seichi and Saria when Artoria activates a trap that erects a wall in her path. Seichi attempts to use the guide stone, but it fails to work as expected. Meanwhile, Artoria navigates the dungeon, battling monsters while searching for Seichi and Saria. Exhausted and wounded, she stumbles upon a chamber housing a formidable dragon. A fierce battle ensues, but Artoria struggles to harm the powerful dragon. Observing the stone given to them by Artoria glowing brightly, Seichi smashes through dungeon walls with his fist to reach her. Artoria unleashes a potent ability called Camality Berserk to enhance her strength, but the dragon's tail pierces her abdomen. As the dragon prepares to deliver a lethal blast of fire, Seichi and Saria arrive in the nick of time, shielding Artoria from the attack. Will Seichi be able to save Artoria, or what's going to happen now that they are in the demon's land? Comment down below if you want to know the rest of the story. See you in the next one.